name is Lydia Fantozzi, and I am the writer for The Day the Daniels Left. I first came up with the idea for The Day the Daniels Left because I've always been fascinated by a child's sudden epiphany that their parents are people too. They aren't just mom and dad, but they are John and Tracy. And I equate this to when a child realizes that their teacher is a person, when they see them in the grocery store and they think to themselves, but how did they get out of the classroom? And I think of it the same way of when my main character Audrey realizes that her parents are actually individuals and they lived before she was born and they loved before she was born and laughed and had their own adventures. And so she now needs to discover herself through who they were. The Day the Daniels Left took about 4 years on and off to finish. I started it back in college during a screenwriting workshop, and I workshopped it for about a year there, and I took a break from it after college and wrote a bunch of different other stories that I wasn't really satisfied with. So I decided to go back to The Day the Daniels Left and completely rework it and really dedicate myself to it. I did more rewrites than I can count for The Day the Daniels Left. My original draft was awful, and I was told during a screenwriting workshop that it was a melodramatic version of a Lifetime movie. And no offense to Lifetime, but I thought that I was going for a quirky, funny yet sad and somewhat poignant version of a coming-of-age story. So needless to say, I was a little off the mark there. So I decided to take a break from it, like I said before, and start rewriting again. And when I decided to rewrite it, I changed the character's name, who she was, who her parents were, and just started from scratch. This is not the first script that I've written, but it is the first script that I have completed. My very first script was back when I was 11, and I wrote my whole script, and I attached a note to James Cameron on it, in which I wrote, and I think I can quote it, that I wanted it to be the scope of Titanic, but more heartfelt, and I'm not sure what that means, but he never wrote back. I entered Scriptapalooza for a couple reasons. One, it was on my quarter life bucket list to do, that I had to enter a screenwriting competition before I hit the age 25. And I entered Scriptapalooza on April 15th, which is 4 days before my 25th birthday, so I knocked something on my bucket list off. And then the other reasons were that I really wanted the feedback. I wanted to see if I was any good and to see how far I can make it in a competition. Some advice that I would give to other screenwriters out there is to never be afraid to scrap a story idea and completely revamp it, because it might suck to have to rewrite an entire screenplay, but it's a whole lot worse to have something that you're not proud of.